Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be reporting about statistical analysis in Chapter 6.9. But before we proceed, may I first give you a brief recap on what statistical analysis, paired and unpaired t-tests, demographic means, so we won't be puzzled and can cope up with the discussion of this topic. Now, statistical analysis is the investigation of trends, patterns, and relationships using quantitative data through, in relation to this chapter or topic, a conduct of survey. The paired t-tests is when you want or have an interest in knowing the difference of two variables for the same subject, while the unpaired t-tests is when you want to determine the difference between two unrelated groups. So in other words, an example, the unpaired way would be to measure the heart rate of 10 people before drinking an energy drink, and then measure the heart rate of some other group of people who have drank energy drinks. Now, demographic or demography means the study of population based on factors such as age, gender, race, ethnicity, or even income, marriage rates in a year, deaths, and more. And its goal is to provide us a basis for understanding communities as to what they are now, what they have been, and where they are headed. So it gives us an insight, and that's why this is important. Now let's go to the discussion, which is about statistical analysis given as my topic. A 5-point survey with 50 respondents and 25 statements, including demographics, results in a 25 by 50 element matrix. All of the responses are converted to numbers. For example, a single respondent to a list of 5 statements will contribute 1 row to the matrix. So here, it then becomes a relative simple matter to generate response histograms. And by the way, histogram is a graphic tool that is used to summarize discrete or continuous data that are measured on an interval scale. The one that we see sometimes in a presentation, like this, like that one. And again, it becomes a relatively simple matter to generate response histograms for each question and to undertake correlation analysis between different columns. In other words, dali ra mabalaan ang rate ani sa kada statement or question in a way all the responses will be converted to numbers. That's why it is also considered or known as quantitative data. By adding up the total numbers of points for every question or statement and then presented in histograms. But kini siya nga methods and all are all described in more details sa chapter 4. Multidimensional correlation analysis can be undertaken to minimize the effect of third question results or demographic divisions when assessing the correlation between two other responses. And when we say multidimensional correlation, it means kung asa ka na duol or na-relate or asa mas duol ang idea between variables, asa ka closer, dito na siya or na-belong. This is to, again, avoid third parties or a division. That's one way to minimize the effect of other questions. Pero there might be of interest to characterize the responses of subpopulations based on their demographic responses. Meaning, nasa times na i-characterize ang responses sa uban in line with their sex, age, race, etc. nga kind of response. In this case, the total population of respondents must be divided into groups on the basis of the demographic responses. And from here, we or they can use the unpaired and paired t-tests. As I have mentioned earlier, unpaired t-test will be used when you want to determine the difference between two unrelated groups. And the paired t-test is the interest in knowing the difference of two variables for the same subject. When two different populations are surveyed, or the population can be divided into two or more different subpopulations, the unpaired t-tests can be used to test the probability that there are differences between two populations. And that's all for my part. Here are also my references when I did my report. Thank you for listening, and may God bless us all.